Okay, so welcome to the first guide that I'm making for Ark Survival Evolved. This game is amazing, but it's really hard to figure out how to play it first, so I thought I'd kind of put together a guide and Let's Play series so you can figure out how to play with me. So we've just started out a new character. You might notice the map is kind of different than what you're used to. I'm actually playing on the Ragnarok map, which is a beautiful, huge map. You have to do a couple codes to, or beat a couple things to unlock it, but it is amazing. So we just showed up. Don't know who we are, where we are, any of that stuff. And we have no food, no clothes, just enough to be barely decent. And the first thing I'm going to do is just start gathering bushes. So you hit the triangle button if you're playing on PS4 in order to start gathering. And we're just going to grab everything we can off of these. You'll notice I'm getting a bunch of berries. And there's a bunch of different kinds of berries you can get from these. The red, blue, and yellow are only good for food. You can use them for dyes later on. And then the purple ones, the mejo berries, are also much better for food, and they're better for taming dinosaurs when you get into that. And then the black berries are narco berries. Those are actually good for knocking out dinosaurs and keeping them unconscious once they're unconscious. And we can actually make narcotics out of those later. So they'll be really important for taming dinosaurs later in the game. So I'm going to save all of my narco berries. And we're also getting stem berries occasionally. Those are good for regaining stamina, but they make you get dehydrated pretty quickly, so I'm going to avoid eating those. So I'm gathering berries. I have a decent amount of them now. You'll notice there's a couple dinosaurs running around. I'm not worried about any of those. They're all pretty peaceful. The Triceratops up there will not attack me unless I provoke it. And there's an Oviraptor running around here that looks a whole lot like a Velociraptor, but it's not. It's not going to come kill me. So feel a little better knowing that. On the Ragnarok map, I can actually pick up this thatch that's lying around on the ground. You probably won't be able to do that on some of the other maps, but it's a nice feature of this beach, is I can just pick up thatch. Otherwise, I would have to punch trees to get that thatch, and it actually hurts me every time I do that. So I'm going to avoid doing that here. Now we got some berries. I'm going to hit circle in order to open up the menu. And I'll probably post a link on these descriptions in order to show you what the controls are for different platforms. So if you're playing on Xbox or the Nintendo Switch coming out soon, then you'll be able to use that. So on PS4, I hit circle to bring up the menu. And you can see I have quite a few items here. I'm going to hit X to select these berries, and then I'll drag them down to my menu bar, and then hit X again to place them there. So I'm going to start out with just the primary colors, because I don't really need those for much other than food. And, since we're slowly starving to death all the time, then I want to go ahead and start by making sure I've got a good supply of food. You'll see right here, I have a level up available. All of these buttons are flashing. This is something I use to actually increase my stats in certain areas. And the first thing I think I'm going to do is increase my stamina a little bit. That allows me to run for longer distances. Also, every time I apply a point, I'm going to unlock some new skills that I can learn. And you'll see at the bottom left, I have 8 engram points available. I can spend those wherever I want to. And I think the first thing I'm going to want is to defend myself and gather resources. So I'm going to make a spear and unlock the stone hatchet. So I have both of those unlocked now. And as I'm seeing some dinosaurs up there running around, oh yeah, that guy's coming right at me. Good thing he is not dangerous. But a lot of these will be. So let me see if I can get enough stuff to make a spear. So if I look at the crafting window, I've got all these items that I can craft, and the ingredients are lifted up to the right. So for this I need fiber, flint, and wood. In order to get flint, the best way to do that is going to be with a pickaxe. And as you can see, I actually have all the materials for this. I'm going to use the right trigger to go ahead and create that pickaxe. And I'm checking the requirements for this axe. The hatchet, I need some flint for that too. So, first order of business, I need to go get some flint. I'm going to select this. I'll go ahead and put it in my active inventory slots. Meanwhile, I'm going to grab anything lying around that I can use, more berries and all that. I'm also getting fiber from these bushes, which will be really handy later on. Now, I could grab stuff from these big rocks, but I really like getting things out of these little rocks here, these brown ones that are on the coast, because they can occasionally, very rarely, drop metal. Oh, and there we go. Call me a liar. Dropped on the very first one. So, after hitting the hotkey for this weapon, I've got it keyed to the up on the plus buttons. That's going to select the tool, and then I use the trigger to actually use the hatchet. And I already have 2 chunks of metal. That is well on my way to getting some really good stuff later on. You'll see I'm getting flint and stone mostly, very rarely getting metal. Metal is really good stuff in this game, but it's a lot harder to get. So now that I got some materials, I hit circle to pull up the menu, going up to crafting, and as you can see I can actually craft a spear. I'm going to start with that, and then I'll gather some more thatch so I can make this hatchet. So I'm going to go ahead and put the spear in my socket here. And now I've got something to at least defend myself a little bit when things come and attack me. Now you'll notice I'm running pretty fast right now. That's because I can click down on the left stick to sprint. Now on the right hand side, on the bottom there, you'll see there are some icons. The very bottom right is my health. The one right above that is my stamina. And you see that lightning bolt that's slowly depleting? Every time I take a swing, take a step as I'm sprinting, that stamina bar is going to slowly reduce. And so that's why I'm actually increasing my stamina at first, so I can do a lot more activity before I have to rest. Once the stamina bar hits 0, I have to stop everything I'm doing, and if I'm being chased by a predator, that means I'm probably going to die. Put 1 more point into stamina, and now I've unlocked some more options. Since I'm right next to the water, I'm not going to worry about water skins just yet. So I think I'm going to make a campfire, which will help pretty soon. And let's go ahead and make a shirt and some pants so we can be a little more decent. I'm going to pull out my menu here, and I actually have all the materials I need for a shirt and pants. So I'm going to use the right trigger on both of those and make them. And we have enough for the hatchet. So I'll go ahead and make that. And you actually come with the ability to make a torch. So I'm going to go ahead and make one of these too. That'll come in handy at nighttime. It helps you see. In order to equip these, I can either click them with X and move them over to the respective spot here, and then click X again, or I can use trigger to just immediately put these on. And now we're decent. Thank goodness, right? I also have that hatchet that I just made, so I'll go ahead and set that to this key, and I'll get that torch ready in case we need that. I'm going to try to get everything ready and get some shelter before it gets dark. The day cycle is reasonably long, but as soon as it gets dark, it starts getting real dangerous out here. I'm going to gather a little more stone and flint because we're going to need that for making more spears. Spears are great. They can defend you a little bit, but they don't last long. You may get a few attacks out of it, and then it'll break. So now I need some wood. Thankfully, we have a lot of wood around here. So I'm going to come up and find some. And since I want wood and not thatch, I'm going to use my hatchet to harvest these logs. And now we have quite a bit of wood. And I'll go ahead and craft maybe 3 more spears. We'll do 4, that's good. Okay. And I think the next thing I will work on is getting some fire going. So I need 5 more stone to make a fire pit. You'll notice I'm moving slowly. It's because I'm still crafting spears. Anytime you're crafting something, you go pretty slowly as it's crafting, so keep that in mind if there's any predators around. I'm also constantly gaining experience as I'm harvesting things, and so my experience bar has been going up this whole time, which is great. And I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little more stamina here. And now we can actually unlock some of the engrams that let us build a house. So if you're going to build a house, the first thing you need is a thatch foundation. And we're probably going to want some walls and ceilings. So I'll go ahead and start with the walls and the foundation, and I've got just enough to make that ceiling. So we'll get started on that. Hopefully we'll have some more experience by the time it's time to put a door on that house. All right, let's go ahead and gather some more thatch and wood. You'll notice on the right-hand side I've got a couple more icons. Right above the energy icon is food. That's that meat-looking thing right there. And that determines how close I am to starving to death. I also just got a new little notification there that said I'm encumbered. And on the bottom right, you can see that little bag. That means I've got too much weight to carry, and it's going to slow down my movement speed. If I have too much weight, I'll actually stop moving altogether. So I'm going to go ahead and start crafting some of these walls and ceilings and such, and that's actually going to reduce my weight. Now what I need now is some fiber. You can see it's really slow moving right now, so let's see if we can get enough fiber to create some more walls. Every time you make a wall, it actually usually costs a lot less weight than all the materials combined. So let's see if we can reduce our weight a little bit here. Now I'm going to make a really simple house at first. So let's do 3 walls. I think I'm going to make it 2 foundations by 2 foundations. I'm not going to be too crazy. So I'll get that roof ready. And we got 3 walls, a foundation, and a roof. We could technically make a 1 by 1 square there, but I'm going to see if I can do a little better than that. Okay, we are pretty overweight. I'm just going to drop these stones for a minute, see if I can gather some more thatch and wood so I can reduce my weight a little more. Should not have gathered so much stone at first. In order to drop something, I have to hit the left trigger, and that'll drop the whole stack of whatever it is, and that'll actually survive on the ground for a bit. So it looks like we need some more fiber. So I'm going to run on down and grab some more fiber. I still haven't run into any predators, which is great, but you know, there's always the threat, there's always predators out there, so I keep gathering some more of this thatch. Okay, we got some fiber there. Let's see if we can make some more. Great. Alright, so I'm going to add some more walls, more ceilings, got another foundation going. The icons on the right, there's food, and then right above that is a water droplet, that's our water. And then above that, we actually have our weight. And as you can see right now, after picking the stone back up, I'm too overweight to even move. Makes me very vulnerable. So I think I will actually add a little bit of stats into weight. That's going to let me carry a bit more. And now I have enough engram points to make a door. I'll make a door frame and an actual door. And that should really help building our little house. Okay, so let's drop some rocks again. Now we can move. Let's see how much we have here. That's enough to get started on a house. Let's see if we can find a decent spot for one.